How long does it take you to answer, is this actually working? This is the question for anyone who's working in mission driven organizations. You may be working on workforce training applications, accelerators, training programs, jobs and placements, or you may be funders and looking to track your grantee or investee reports. Fundamentally, each of them requires that you have a ways to track that individual grantee or investee in a long period of time. So this video is a hands-on video. Change your thinking process about how to leverage AI in an effective way. There are three options. Number one, ChatGPT of the world or Claude of the world, AI bolted in a chat window based approach, or often people call LLM based approach. Right out of the bat, they are not the right platform for you. And there are three reasons. One is that it can't collect the data in first place, and you are working with either some kind of stakeholders or some kind of grantees or investees. Secondly, you can't follow the person journey over the time. And third, which is everybody knows, but they just keep the blind eye, which is really answer you cannot trust. You put your Excel data or survey data into ChatGPT, and you're going to get two different results. That is a huge liability and trust factor. So I think this is not the right approach for this particular use case. Other option is to use a legacy platform like Excel and survey and CRM and case management. I can tell you they are also deadly. I have talked to so many organizations trying to make Salesforce working after 6 years. So many that just cannot make that thing configurable. They eventually give up and start working on Excel and email. And that's the reason. The promise is to store the data in singular form, but the centralization is a pipe dream. You can store the data, but it never learns because it just treats every data document as a file sitting on a storage file. Secondly, it has all of them as a rigid workflow. Let's just say a platform like application management, grant management, like Submittable or Montera. Each of them literally has they think the workflow is a common core value, but in reality, that is a liability in the age of AI. Because you have to spend months to configure a name. Something changes, you have hundreds of fields there to test it out and roll it out every quarter. And again, it's a disaster to manage and maintain over the time. Thirdly, they all say that I have analytics, but unfortunately, those analytics never fit in to the workflow of the organization is using it. And so many organizations actually end up downloading that in Excel and then analyzing separately, maybe in a Claude and some other place, but that defeats the whole purpose of the tracking everything in one place. What is the better option? Better option is that a system that has three things, and I will walk you through in a second. The system that can collect the data from any sources, whether it's an application, proposal, or a PDF document, or intake answers, qualitative answers, interview process, or past records. Let's look at the example, and I'm going to walk you through an example here in a minute. And throughout this video series, you will see this series of use cases that will help you rethink how you should think about AI usage properly. So in this example, this is where you're doing application process for Accelerators or workforce training program. You get the series of application, you get the name, you get qualitative statements, and then AI can go and extract key barriers like transportation or no clear goal or child care is an issue. So you configure the fields with the prompt and analyze them. And the best part, third part, is that as soon as your data is extracted on your database, on your systems, now you are ready to start chatting with it, whether using a Sopact assistant like chat or MCP with Claude and ChatGPT. To explain that, I'm going to take the theory change video. If you haven't seen it, go back and see it. That example was more focused on providing workforce training. And this example, I'm going to take the first step. As you can see, there are many steps that you might need to take. Maybe you have intake process, you have mid-program, exit. I'm only going to talk about intake process in this example. So in the intake program, I have designed the series of data collection practices. It's a simple data collection change that looks very similar to the survey, but it's very different than that. So you are defining a data collection process. You ask series of profile questions, demographics, and you can make a decision based on open-ended text, qualitative, or maybe a proposal. Either way it works or combination works. But what I have done and what we have shifted is just towards listening based on qualitative thing, which gives you a lot more deeper context in your data collection practices. So once you design that, next thing is to analyze them immediately as soon as the data is arrived. So let's say I have 80 different applications that came in. As soon as it comes in, I have an intelligent cell that extracts it and gives you very quick analysis of each of them to see where the baseline job is, what is the initial confidence, so that I know what to do, what are the top barriers they're facing, what are the different scores, and that's it. And that is the foundation, that is the core in every process you do. So whether you design this thing for intake process, mid-program, exit, mentorship case notes, 6 months follow-up, job requirement, job placement, each of them are workflow or data collection by itself. But as you can see, it's very easy to set up and define and flexible. And as you grow, you build one process at a time. And as soon as it's done, now you are ready to start asking questions and say, what are the barriers faced by this person? Or what are the top entities there? I just started typing and say, hey, give me all the, this is in a Claude, by the way. So either way, it just gives a very reliable answer. So the idea is to say, give me the total number of applications. It gives me all the application and including intelligent cell-based analysis of each and every candidate. And I can see some of the candidates already has at risk and some of them require some additional support and other field. Then I can ask the question and say, hey, tell me which of the 10 are the best. And again, it goes through each of those proposal and analysis that you already had, and within seconds you have each of them being connected. And as you can see on the right hand side, it builds a beautiful report that I can share with my team to make the decision about the application. That process doesn't take months, it just takes a day. So that's a fundamental shift in how we're gonna see. And so I hope you came to understand how the AI can change your process. So I will end with this question here. To collect data from anywhere, how do you improve the process? Read it on the arrival. That's the main answer to that. Most of our customers are seeing that something used to take months. Now they are literally doing it on a daily basis. It's not impact measurement, it's a result-based learning process. And that is where things are going, which is organizations are taking ownership of their own data and their own feedback and their own learning and improving their own metrics as a result of that, and not because funders said so. Hopefully that was useful. Thank you.